Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Now for the last 3 months I have had on my wrist the Garmin Instinct 2X Solar Tactical Edition. I'm pretty much smitten with this watch. I think it's possibly one of the best everyday watches that you can wear, and hopefully you're watching this because you may be thinking of picking one of these up. So let's have a look at the reasons why this probably is the watch for you. Okay, so now just to get some, I suppose, housekeeping out of the way, we'll have a quick look around the actual watch itself. So this is the 2X. Now, just to be clear, so there are a few different versions of the Garmin Instinct 2. There is the Garmin Instinct 2, which is a 45mm watch face, and this is the 2X, or the X2. No, it's a 2X, which is a 50mm watch face. I will say, now when I first got this, and I was like, right, okay, this is the X. This needs to be big. This needs to be massive and bombastic. It needs to feel like a huge, ridiculous G-Shock on my watch. It doesn't feel that big, I will say. Now I have a 7.5-inch wrist, so when this is on my wrist, it certainly doesn't feel particularly big, particularly large. The original, or at least the smaller version of this, with it having a 45mm face, it's still a reasonably large timepiece. When you've got a 45mm wristwatch on, you certainly notice that. I wanted to see more of a jump. I wanted it to feel larger. It doesn't feel as large. That could be a good thing. That could be a bad thing, depending on what you were expecting from this. Construction wise, it's constructed from a hard resin all the way around. There are some bolts or some screws on here. I'm guessing they are probably structural. I know with a lot of Casios, they're not actually structural, they're just cosmetic. The buttons have a really nice haptic kind of click to them when you press them, which again is really nice. The screen is a mineral crystal display on there. On the reverse, you have the heart rate sensor. The heart rate sensor on this is very nice. The bump on it is, it's noticeable. It's probably maybe a millimetre and a half, maybe. I've had it on my wrist all day, and you certainly can't see that there is a little kind of bump on there. Whereas some other wrist watches with the bumps on there, they start to kind of dig into your wrist after a while, which a lot of people don't like. For this one, I find it sits on my wrist, it sits fine, and it certainly doesn't annoy me through the day. Underneath here is your charger. So the battery in this is very good. I will say, from the jump up from the Garmin Instinct Solar to the Garmin Instinct 2 Solar, especially with this one, with this being the 2X. So with the original, I could easily get 2 weeks worth of wear out of it, and that's going to the gym twice a week and using the heart rate monitor on that. That's having the heart rate monitor on constantly. I don't use this for its smart functions though, so it's not constantly trying to talk to my phone. And then for 3 of those, I would actually run and use the GPS on the original Garmin Instinct, and I could get 2 weeks out of that. So this is the Instinct 2X, which gives it a large area. So inside the screen here, if I bring this a little bit closer, hopefully you might be able to see that there's a couple of colour differentials. So you've got the screen in the middle, which is kind of a square shape, but then around the outside here, this is where the solar panel is. Now you can check on this what your solar activity is, and there you go, there's mine, little to nothing. That's because I have a sleeve over it. It's great that feature is on there, and they will say, oh no, you've got solar intensity, the battery will last you indefinitely and you may never need to charge it. That's probably right if you live in Morocco and it's constantly the day and you don't have a sleeve on your wrist, then that's great. For me, this is the first time that I've took it off. It's been under my wrist, under my sleeve all day, and I'm only just getting some of that solar power. But I can get at least 3 weeks of wear out of this, which I think is great. That bump up, and that again is exercising at the gym twice a week and running 3 times a week, between 6 to 10k when I run, with the GPS on. The strap on this is a very nice strap. I will definitely commend Garmin for the straps that they do. It's nice and soft, very rubbery kind of feel to it, so that when it's on your wrist, one, it feels really nice. Behind the strap here, if you'll notice, there is kind of a little berm or a little indent here, so it's very good at being able to get moisture and water away from your wrist. When you have a shower with it, it's not like some other watches where you'll find that it does tend to keep water underneath here. Water does come out very quickly. There's also a little bit of give in it as well. So if you see it, hopefully you can see there that I'm stretching it. I have a 7.5-inch wrist, and this fits really well. In fact, let's put it on quickly. So yeah, 7.5-inch wrist, and it fits really nicely. There's still plenty of room on here. I think that's mainly down to the fact that this is designed, if needs be, that you can wear this over an outside garment. Maybe, you know, you're doing some sort of work during the day, or you're doing a nice long walk. You want to wear it outside your jacket. In fact, there is even a jacket mode for this. So I've 7.5-inch wrist. I've still got at least 2 inches at the end. It also has 2 of these, 2 of the tang stays, which again is really nice. But yeah, so my wrists do swell when I'm exercising, or even when I'm just kind of warm inside the house. So having that extra little bit of give in the strap is great. Now you can swap out these straps. They have lots of other straps. I have seen people, so the pin can be removed from here, and I have seen people using 2-piece kind of NATO bands, which work also with this. The only difficulty is that you can't have a full NATO band, mainly because you know, you've got your heart rate monitor there, and if you cover the heart rate monitor, you're going to lose a lot of those functions. Now, as far as the UI on this is concerned, it's fairly simple. It's very easy to use. You have a menu button. If you hold this down, this will take you into the settings, which we will come back and have a look at. You have your controls button up here, which again, if you hold down, then gives you access to these. Oh, sorry, press the wrong button. Gives you access to these kind of quick controls. So you've got your stealth mode, you've got your wallet. There is a torch on this, which I think is quite useful. A strobe, you can power it off, check the battery, all of that sort of stuff. So they're just very simple, easy actions to be able to find. The set button here is also your back button, which I keep pressing by accident. But that flashlight, so if you do a double tap on the control button, you have a little flashlight here, which is useful. You know, don't get me wrong, it is useful to have that on there. Generally, I tend to carry a flashlight in my pocket anyway, so I don't use it as much, but it's there just in case I did need to use that. On the screen, you've got a nice big, bright, vibrant display. Now, you can have this. So at the moment I have it as a negative display. There are lots of different watch faces that you can set on this, whether you want to create your own from kind of some of the stock ones that they have, or you can go onto the Garmin app and you can download additional watch faces, which are really nice. To get to those, you can do a long press on the menu, and then you have all of your watch faces on here. When you go onto it, so you could choose a watch face, customize it. So each of these different zones on here. So at the moment you can see I've got the date on there, but I could change that to the heartbeat, or I could change that so that it's got the day on there as well. And again, so where you've got your battery indicator here, footsteps, you've got your sunrise and sunset here at the top. I have my heart rate. All of those you can customize and you can change for each of them as well. Plus, there are, oh, get lost, you silly thing. Yes, okay, let's go back. So one thing that does bug me a little bit sometimes is around the interface. Sometimes there's a little bit too many buttons to press. But if you wanted to, so if you wanted this in the top right hand corner to be a negative display, you could certainly change that. If you wanted the main watch face to be a positive display, you can change that as well. So I have it in negative display because I just think it looks nice, but if you wanted to, you can change that, and you can change all of the different things around here as well. Now there are apps on this. Now they call them apps. They're kind of things that you can check very quickly if you want to. So using either the menu button or the ABC button here, you can press down and it will take you through these apps. So I've got on there, I've got steps, I've got ABC, which is your altimeter, barometer and compass. I've got weather and so on and so on and so on. And you can, and with all of these, you can also edit them. So if there are ones on there that you don't want, then you can take those off. Or if I press edit, hopefully you'll be able to see that there is a whole list here. So this is the ones that I currently have on. But then if I go to add, then there are lots of other ones. I'll just quickly scroll through these. But yeah, so with all of these watch apps, you can also go on to the Garmin Instinct store, and there are different ones that have been created by Garmin. Well, there are also third-party ones, so if there's a certain app maybe you want to add on here, maybe they're like golfing, or actually I think there is a golfing one on there anyway, but maybe there's a specific one and you find that on the Garmin store, then you can add that to here. Generally, I tend to find to go to the ABC button because I'm used to Casio's when I go through the different modes. However, if you want to go through it the other way, you can press the menu button and you'll start at the bottom and you'll cycle up through them as well. Forgot to mention that the ABC button, if you hold this down, it also functions as your ABC button. So you can get direct access to your altimeter, barometer and compass directly from there as well. Now, for a lot of these, they also have different faces or different kind of sections or different parts to the apps. So on here, hopefully you can see on the left-hand side there actually, if I move this up, you can see that there are actually 4 kind of options or 4 kind of modes within the ABC. And that you can switch through those as well. You'll find that with a lot of the different things on here, so let's go back on here, let's go back to my steps. If I choose to go onto this, similar here, so on the left hand side there, hopefully you can see, so it shows you what your steps are per week, per month, per day, and so on, just to give you more information. Now, for me personally, I tend to use this more for sports and for tracking whilst I'm either out running or I'm at the gym. And a lot of that's all done through this button here at the top right. So you press on this and then you have a long list of all of the different kind of activities that you do. This can also be completely customized. So generally I either do run, I either cardio or I work. I've also got navigate on there as well, but eventually you'll see as it go down here that there are additional ones. So at the top, they were my favorites. These are the ones that I don't tend to use as much, but they really are a lot. And if you want to add to these, again, there are lots of difference. Now, what they do with these, so if I just take running, for example, there are lots of different types of runs. So whether you want to do a walk, whether you want to do a trail run, maybe you don't actually run outside, so you don't need to use the GPS. You can do treadmill and it will track exactly the same, but it will turn off things like GPS and it will help to save some of your battery. But again, so all of this is done through this top button. If it is that I am going for a run, then I can say, yep, I want to go for a run, start that. It will find the closest satellite. It uses GPS and it also uses GLONASS as well, just to make sure that it can find something. Stop it once I've finished. And then eventually it'll say to me, do you want to save this? So I will save this for now. And what it will do now is it will start to collect all of the data that it's been able to collect whilst I've been out running for these 10 seconds. And it will start then to give me a bit of a summary. So there are 5 pages on here. It'll say, tell me where I've been, my pace. All of this, again, you can completely customize, so you can decide what you want to see from this. It's also repeated on the app, which can also be used as part of this as well. Now, with this being the tactic version, there are a few extra features on here that you don't get with the normal 2X Solar. I'm not going to lie, I don't tend to use any of these features. I got the Tactics version mainly because I like this colour. I wanted the tan version, and I saw it straight away and I was like, yeah, the tan version's the one for me. And then realised that you have to pay an extra £50 just to get the tactical version, because I wanted in this colourway rather than going with any of the other colourways. But some of those, so onto your controls here. So on here are some extra features like the stealth mode. So if I turn the stealth mode on, it would continue to operate as it would normally do on a lot of the features. But anything like the GPS, anything like Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, all of those sort of radio signals that would mean that you can be tracked, it would turn all of those off. There is also on here as well, where are we? That's the stealth. There is also, where is it now? There you go. So there's the night vision mode. Sorry, just gonna focus, sorry about that. The night vision mode, it just turns off the backlight so that you can't accidentally turn off the backlight. Also the heart rate monitor on the back, that, you know, it does flash green and you can slightly see it underneath your wrist. Sometimes it turns off that as well. Some of the other features on here that the tactical version has that some of the others don't, is for things like parachuting. It has halo settings. It has, what are the other options? There's halo, there's high, right, you know what they are, maybe, possibly, but they're all about, you know, where you're parachuting from, and a lot of those are the kind of tactical functions. Again, I'm probably never going to use those. I just liked the tan version. I thought it was pretty and I wanted that one. So that's the reason that I got this one. If they did the tan version with the others, I probably would have saved £50 and just gone for one of the other ones instead. Now, having a super quick look at the settings. So on here, you've got your watch face, which is pretty self-explanatory. The history, so I have these both as my favorites. The history goes through any sort of previous activities that you've done. But then you can go back into your normal settings. So activities and apps goes through all of the different activities that you can do on here. So let's say you're out on a run, but you want to make sure that it locks your screen every time so that you can't turn it off by accident and, you know, miss half of your run. Or if you're out running and you want to turn off your phone notifications, you can do all of that through here. After that, then you've got your notifications and alerts. So this really goes around a lot of those smart notifications that you can get. Now, the smart notifications, as far as notifications from my phone, I turn off. I like to have a smartwatch because it does a lot of the features as far as the fitness tracking is concerned. However, I just like a watch to be a watch. I don't want to see emails and text messages and all of that sort of stuff, so I do turn that off. The appearance goes back into the watch face. It's also got those glances. Now the glances are those apps that I mentioned. So these are all of those little bits that you can get to quickly by using your menu and your ABC button. So this is another area that you can change it. There's lots of different areas that you can change things just in case, but you get back to the same place. Your controls here as well is that part where you click on your control button, hold that down. So you can go through here as well. That's one of the other things. So you've also got applied ballistics on this. So if it is that you're a marksman or even just a fan of getting outside with a pew-pew, there is an app. Now, you can't use this directly on your watch. You need to have the app, which will do a lot of the calculations for you. But where were we? So then you have your sensors and accessories, so you can decide how they're used, whether you do want to use GLONASS or do you just want to use GPS, or, you know, how regularly do you want it to ping the GPS, all of those sort of things. Maps, so that you can add maps to this phone. Hopefully will speak for itself, but it will decide, do you just want to receive emails? Do you want to receive text messages? Do you want to receive phone calls? Do you want to answer phone calls? Your user profile on here gives a little bit more around kind of your statistics so that it can work out how to work your fitness. Safety, not really being into here, but as you can see, so if you were in an incident, then you can get numbers to be able to contact you. Health and wellness, again, you know, this gives you more information about your heart rate and stuff. So if your heart rate goes over certain things, it can give you alerts to say, you know, you need to maybe go and find a doctor or something. Navigation as well, you can put maps into this so that if you are out on a walk, it will give you step-by-step navigation. Power modes, so there are a few different power modes on this. So I did mention this earlier as far as things like battery saver. Your power modes, at the moment I have this on just kind of a max battery mode. I just want everything to work. But there are some built-in ones in here, so that's got the ultra track, but you can also do a jacket mode. So jacket mode is similar to that stealth mode. It will turn off the bits underneath here, because if you're wearing this over an outside garment, then you're probably not going to use some of those, so it will help you to save some of the battery on there. Actually, let's go back. Where were we? And then you've got your system. So we're just going to focus. You've got your system on here, which is things like your language, your date and time. You can set whether you want to have this, what sort of date formats, what sort of time formats you want as well. Your backlight, how long you want to have that on. Even things like units as well, whether you want to be in miles per hour, whether you want to be in kilometers per hour, feet and inches, or centimeters. All of that is covered through there as well. Now lastly, a quick look at the app for this. Now I have made content in the past about the app, so I'll go through this quite lightly, but it really takes you through all of the vital information that you need as far as the what you can get from your phone, or at least what you can get from your wristwatch. Here at the top, here's the activity that we just did that wasn't much, because, you know, I just turned it on for 11 seconds. I'll probably delete that. But here was the last run that I did. I'll say that the GPS on this is exceptional. Garmin are really known for how well it tracks your heart rate and a lot of those other things. But I use this for my runs, and yeah, it's great. There's some other features on here as well. Oh, actually, where was it again? So if you go into calendar, you can check everything for the day. So there's there was the run that I did in the morning. If you want to check your sleep score, my sleep score was kind of okay for that day. I'm not a particularly good sleeper. It's always something that I've struggled with, even though, you know, fundamentally falling asleep shouldn't be too difficult. But again, so you can go into individual things like your steps for the day, and you can pretty much track everything. The app, the Garmin app, certainly is one of the best out there, and it complements everything that you can do with the watch itself. Now, the beauty of the Instinct line, or Garmin's Instinct line of watches over something like the Phoenixes, is that these are just that extra little bit more hard wearing and outdoorsy. For me, it's the perfect crossover wristwatch. I can go out and I can go on a trek with this. If it's somewhere that I've not walked before, I can put the map into this, and it'll give me directions as I'm walking. I can use this for catching bearings and stuff whilst I'm out as well, but during the day on just a normal regular EDC kind of side, I go to the gym, so I exercise at the gym twice a week. I go on 3 runs a week, and I can do that all with this, and it will track my fitness. It will track my day-to-day kind of, statistics that if I choose to look at those, and sleep tracking, all of that sort of stuff. But then if I wanted to, I could just use this as an everyday watch. I didn't have to use all of that, and I could use this for those smart functions that are on here. There's definitely a lot going for this, and I think considering that the Instinct lines are roughly half the price of Samsung's Phoenix lines, then these are a great option for everyday enthusiasts that also like to get outdoors and just, go adventuring. And I think that's the perfect kind of sums it up perfectly for the Instinct 2X Solar Tactical Edition. Now, of course, I'll leave some links below so that you can see more from this, and also, so I have also made some content on the original Garmin Instinct, which is still an exceptionally good watch 3 or 4 years after it originally came out. So I'll leave a link to that below as well. I'll also leave a link to some of my social media feeds for here on Moorlander EDC and my sister channel, Moorlander Tactical. But for now, as always, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. Knew I should have bought my gloves. Oh, it is cold. It is brass monkeys weather, as they would say in the Navy. It's a naval term, isn't it? Brass monkeys weather. Anyway, now over the last 3 months I have been wearing the, sorry, it's just turned 12 o'clock and it vibrated in my hand, which put me off there for a second. Let's do that again. Hi, what is it now? It's the Garmin Instinct. Garmin Instinct 2X Tactical. Garmin Instinct 2X Tactical. Is it? It is. I'm pretty sure it is because I took a photo of the thing this morning. It is a Garmin Instinct 2X Solar Tactical. The Garmin 2X Solar Tactical, which is a bit of a mouthful. I'm just going to call it the 2X from now on, although as I mentioned it is the Garmin oh fucking tits. Shitty shit nuggets. I shit my pants. Feel like drinking a gallon of turpentine and pissing on a bush fire. That was in a game, Big Red Tractor or something stupid, Big Red Tractor Racing or something. Anyway. Fuck, what's it called again? Fine. I think for me, being a little bit more outdoorsy, or you know, I aspire to be more outdoorsy, let's say. No, fuck it, I am outdoorsy. I am outdoorsy. I'll do that bit again. That's better. Then it's going on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday fun day. Fun day Sunday, whichever way you want to say it. Anyway, yeah, cool. It's cold. I'd like to waffle, but it's freaking cold. So, yeah, I'll see you in a bit.